Day four, day four. What more can I say? Day four. Hip hip, hooray! You guys like Disney movies? Here's your warm up. Take a few minutes and do it. I'm gonna just freeze the screen. I don't care that it says 6 minutes and 56 seconds. Just do these. Go. All right, what percentage like Parent Trap? What a terrible movie. But that doesn't even matter. We have 15 who like The Lion King. We have Nemo, that's a good one. Up, one of my personal favorites. Very sad beginning though. Cars, 22%. Never liked Cars. Bambi, oh my gosh, Bambi's mom, right? So what we're gonna do is, to answer one, we are going to do 100 minus 28 minus 22, minus 13, minus 14, minus 15. That'll give us a whopping 8% like Parent Trap. Lindsay Lohan. How many kids like Bambi? You know, I know you're going to want to say 28. I know you're going to want to say just 28%. But there were that many kids interviewed. So it's not just 28%, it's 28% of 1,200. Gotcha. And 28% times 1,200, that many kids. A lot of kids like Bambi. What about Aladdin? Now there's a film. How many more kids like The Lion King more than Up? Watch this neat trick. See how 15% like Lion King and 13% like Up? That's a 2% difference. And 2% of 1,200 is 24. That's right. 24 kids like Lion King more than Up. Two good movies. I can't tell which one I honestly like more. Maybe Lion King. I used to have that memorized when I was a kid. You know, times were simpler back then. Speaking of simple, objective. I will be able to calculate percentages and create two-way tables. We did two-way tables yesterday. And I guess we're just going to do more today. How does that sound? Yippee. Freeze the screen, or I'm going to freeze the screen, and you do these. What number is 13.5% of 52? You just multiply them. It's as simple as that. 7.02 is what I got, or 7 if you're rounding to the nearest tenth. That's what it says up there. 47 is 19%. 19% of what number? Divide both sides by 19%. Divide both sides by 19%. And you are going to get, if you're rounding to the nearest tenth, 247.4. Here's the big one. 12 is what percent of 13? Divide both sides by 13. Divide both sides by 13. And the decimal that you would get is 0.923. Multiply that by 100. And you get 92.3. Yeah. Yeah. Just like that. Just like that. $34 out of 66 is what percent? First off, 34 out of 66, according to Mr. Calculator, is 0.51515151. I want the percent though. Multiply that by 100, and you get 51.5%. Round to the nearest tenth. That's where it rounds to. You do 5 quickly. I won't even freeze it. I'm just gonna stand here and wait. So 960 out of 2309 is give or take 0.416. Multiply that by 100, 41.6%. You do the other two. All right, 45 people out of a group of 51 ends up being 88 or 0.88. Multiply that by 100. 88%. Out of 120 students, 41 are girls. So we have a little bit of wordplay there. We have to do some switcheroo. What percent of the students are girls? You should get 0.34 here. Multiply that by 100. 34%. Hey! A two-way table. Looks like we have Spanish and French and German and boys and girls and everybody. I'd say I'm going to star the top 4 or the top 2 rows, however you want to view that. Take about 2 minutes and do those. Go. Go. 2 boys took French. Boys taking French. And 3 girls took German. Which class seems to be least popular amongst the boys? Well, here are the boys. No one seems to care much about French. And you can explain that, well, only 2 people took it. And what class seems to be most popular amongst the whole grade? Well, here's the whole grade, total. Half of them took Spanish. Now, how do I know it's half of them? Well, 25 out of 50 is half. Yeah. Oh, the magic pen's still up from the other day. Remember that? There it goes. So, what percent of boys prefer Spanish? Well, there's 20 total boys. 20 total boys. Of those boys, 10 of them, 10 out of 20 prefer Spanish. When I throw that into my calculator, I get 0.5 or half. Multiply that by 100, 50%. I'm purposely stalling to let you do the next one. What percent of girls prefer German? Look at the total amount of girls. Find out how many girls took German. A number over a number. So here's my girls. 3 of them took German. 3 out of 30 took German. You'll get 0.1. Multiply that by 100. There you have it. So I think the numbers here are going to be a little bit less pleasant, but let me allow you the opportunity to try this out on your own. How many 8th graders prefer history? How many more 7th graders? So this is worded strange. How many more 7th grade? So here's 7th grade. How many more liked English than history? How many more liked it? 2. This is where it gets tricky. What percent of 8th graders? Now there's a total of 182 8th graders. Blink 182. Remember them? All right. There's 182 total. If you haven't figured it out, the total seems to go on the bottom. The larger number will go on the bottom every single time. What percent of 8th graders prefer history? Of this 8th grade, 45 prefer history. So after you divide that number and multiply that number by 100, you should get 24.7%. You'll get 0.247, multiply it by 100, and you'll get 24.7%. What percent of math science students are 7th graders? This is where it gets weird again. What percent of math science students? There's 100 of them. There's 100 math science students. 28 of them, 28 out of 100 are 7th graders. No calculator needed. 28 out of 100 is 28%. Yep. If you need to pause, if you need to rewind, please do. This is kind of weird. On the bottom here, you have total. On the right here, you don't. So you're thinking, I like totals. I'm going to go over and I'm going to write it out myself, which might help us with that problem right there. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to see if you can do this whole thing. See if you can do the whole thing. Go. Go. How many females prefer basketball? 16. What sport do males prefer? Football, because 40 of them like football. How many males were interviewed? Let me see. 40 plus 20 plus 15 is 77. How many females were interviewed? 12 plus 16 plus 45, 73. Seems to be a grand total of 150. What percent of males, 77 of them, prefer basketball? 22 out of 77. 22 out of 77 is going to be 0.29. Multiply that by 100, 29%. What percent of females, so there's 73 females, prefer basketball? That's 16. 16 out of 73 is is about 0.22. Multiply that by 100, you'll get 22%. And what percent of football fans, let me see, football fans are 52 of them. What percent of football fans are male? 40 are male. 40 out of 52 ends up being around 77%. Whew. So you got 10 problems here. Let me give you about 10 minutes. Go. pizza with soda? It's 120. How many people didn't get food? 60. How many people got pizza? So let me erase this. Let me erase this. And the magic pen is there. How many people got pizza, which is that number, 182, or hot dogs? That'll be 158 plus 182, ends up being 340. Blink 182. How many water drinkers are there? Let me see. You all like water, 140. What percent of water drinkers, now let me think, the water drinkers are 140. What percent of water drinkers got pizza? So 58 out of 140. Tell you what, if you're not sure about this, let me hit, well, let's go over this one and maybe I'll let your teacher pause it if the teacher needs to. I got 41% here. What percent of water drinkers got a hot dog? I got 44%. What percent of pizza people, ooh, Blink 182, right guys? That's a band. What percent of pizza eaters didn't get a drink? 4. Well, they're gonna go thirsty. Maybe they live in poverty and they can't afford it. A whole 2% of them. What percent of everyone got neither food nor drinks? Well, everyone is 400. And out of that 400, 10 of them got neither food nor drinks. Ends up being 2.5%. What percent of everyone got soda? Half of them did. And what percent of soda drinkers, got either pizza or hot dogs? So soda drinkers are 200 of them, 200 soda drinkers. Pizza or hot dogs is 170, ends up being 85%. Wow, busy concession stand, right kids? Huh? Busy concession stand. Busy. Busy. Last one. Math bits. Last one. Try it on your own. How many people like both skateboards and snowmobiles? 80. How many people just like snowmobiles? 105. What percent of everyone likes skateboards? Let me see. What percent of everyone likes skateboards? So that's 125 people who like skateboards out of 160 total people. The percentage that I got was 78%. What percent of everyone doesn't like either skateboards or snowmobiles? So you have people who don't like either. That's 10. 10 out of everyone. 6.25%. Of the people who like skateboards, of the people who do like skateboards, which is 125 of them, what percent like snowmobiles? Most of them do. So 80 out of 125 is 64%. Nintendo's 64%, right, gamers? 1080 snowboarding. And is it safe to say that people who like snowmobiles, so what are those people? These people like snowmobiles. You, 105 of them. Does it look like they also like skateboards too? I'd say, yeah. Yeah. Because 80 out of 105 is a high percentage. Did we do that one? Nah. But that's a lot. In fact, why don't we do it quick? 80 out of 125 is 0.64. Ugh. 105. Oops. 80 out of 105. 0.76. So 76%. Yeah, I'd say that's most. Believe it or not, boys and girls, that's it for the chapter. Reviews next. What do I want you to do for homework? The rest of them. Haha. Remain busy. Remain busy and remain blessed. If you need to rewind and pause, please do. Have a great day.